Hello, beautiful people of the internet. How are you doing today? My name is Jackie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be completing the How Do We Rate Our Books tag. This tag was originally created by Novelle Novels. I will link her original video down below. This is honestly a pretty straightforward book tag where it has several questions asking you about how you decide to rate your books. This tag was really designed to get to know other people's rating habits because I think on booktube a lot of people have different standards, shall we say, when they're rating books. Some people are very liberal with the 5 stars. I am not. Some people give a lot of 3 stars. Some people rate a lot of books 1 star, and other people never do it. So really, that's what this tag is all about. How do you rate books and why? Let's get right into it with question number 1. Question number 1 is, how often do you DNF books and what makes you DNF? I think most people know what DNF means, but in case you don't, DNF means did not finish. How often do you put a book down without finishing it? I would say every once in a while. I don't think I DNF very frequently. I know there's a lot of people who do it more often than I do, but there are also people I know who never DNF a book, and I'm not in that camp either. The genre that I read most often is mysteries, and usually even if I'm not liking a mystery thriller, I'm still going to finish it because, you know, I want to see how the mystery is going to resolve in the end. So usually I don't DNF mystery thrillers, but occasionally I do DNF a book if I feel like I'm just not in the right headspace or the right mood for this book at this particular time. I may then DNF it with the intention to go back to it. But then 2, sometimes I DNF books because I feel like they're putting me in a reading slump. I realize that I'm not making progress with this book, and not only that, but I'm not really picking up other books that I have on that month's TBR, and I don't want to force myself to read a book if it's going to be at the expense of all the other books that I'm going to read and that I might potentially enjoy more. So I think that's really what it is for me. I can power through a book if I'm eager to see how it's going to end, or I feel like even though I'm not liking it, I'm still reading it pretty quickly. But if something has become a slog and it's impacting my general reading life, that's when I'm like, okay, I'm just going to DNF this book. Question number 2 is, do you rate books 1 star? The answer is yes, I do. I know some people don't like to give books 1 star. They think it's too mean or whatever. Personally, I do give books 1 star. I don't think I do it all that often, but it does happen. And basically, I rate a book 1 star for 2 reasons. It's either one, the other, or both. Either one, I think the book is actively offensive, then I might rate it 1 star, or 2, there's just nothing about the book that I particularly like. If I disliked a book, but I still think it's well written, or I can see why a lot of other people would like it, I'll usually give it a 2. But if I actively dislike something and I can't really think of positives, that's when I give it a 1 star, you know? And granted, I've given books 1 star that other people enjoyed, but it's just my personal opinion. If I have actively negative feelings towards a book, that's when the 1 star comes in. And that leads us into question 3. What is a 2-star book to you? So to me, when I rate a book 2 star, that means that I personally did not like the book, but I did not think there was anything offensive about it or anything particularly egregious. Usually if I give a book 2 star, that means I personally did not enjoy it or I didn't think it was for me, but I don't think it was necessarily badly written, and I can understand why other people might have liked the book. So I still didn't like the book, but I don't have as strong negative feelings as I do for a 1-star book. Question 4, is a 3-star book a good book to you? Kind of. I feel like whenever I give a book 3-star, that means I liked the book fine. There were things I liked about it, there were things I didn't like about it. And so I think, yeah, that's a good rating. I think if you look at every rating I've ever given on Goodreads, my average rating is like almost exactly 3.5, so right in the middle on a scale of 1 to 5. And I think 3 is solid. Like, I'm not gonna run out and tell everybody to read this book, but I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was well written, it was decent, it just didn't make a super strong impression on me. I think that's basically saying it was a good book, it was fine, but it was not a great book in my personal opinion. That being said, if I rate a book 3 stars, I don't have the same negative feelings towards it as I would for a lower rating. It's a book that I liked fine. I enjoyed it enough while I was reading it. I just don't think it's going to stick with me long term, or there were some flaws in the book that brought the rating down for me. So I would say, I don't know if a 3-star book is a good book, but it's definitely a decent or fine book. Question 5 is, what does a 4-star rating mean to you? Now, any book that I give 4 stars is a book that I really did quite like. Obviously, there are probably still some things that I didn't like about it, or some things that I would have changed, or maybe one particular plot thread that I wasn't crazy about. But when I give a book 4 stars, that means I liked it. I think, I haven't crunched the numbers, but I think 3 and 4s are my most commonly given ratings, So 4-star books are books that I really did enjoy, and I would recommend them to people, I think that's probably the big difference between 3 stars and 4 stars for me. 3-star books are like, yeah, they were good, if they sound interesting to you, check them out, but I'm probably not going to include them in any recommendation videos on my channel or anything. Whereas 4-star books are books that I enjoyed and I have fond memories of, books that I would recommend to other people. Question 6 is, do you ever give half-star ratings? And I do. I don't go as specific as some people I know do. I have seen people on booktube and Instagram who have a whole algorithm for calculating their star ratings, and they give, 4.25 stars, 3.75, and I'm not that deep about it. I kind of just rate books to a certain extent based on my gut feeling. So for instance, if I finished a book and I'm not sure whether I want to rate it 3 stars or 4 stars, I'll probably just split the difference in my wrap up and say 3.5 stars. Because sometimes I'm just really not sure what rating I want to give it. I do also give a decent amount of 4.5 stars. And we'll talk a little bit more about this, I think, when I get to the question on 5-star books. But to me, I give a lot of 4.5 stars because there are some books that I really do, genuinely really like. I finish the book and I'm like, wow, this book was really good. But even though I thought it was really good, I think to myself, well, is this going to be a book that I remember 2 years from now? I really, really liked it, but is it going to stand the test of time? Is this going to be a book that I still remember and look back on, and I can remember the characters and the plot? It really stuck with me. And so that's why I think I do give a lot of 4.5 stars, because those are books that I really, really enjoyed. I would highly recommend, but I'm not quite sure if they're going to be favorites. And so that's what it means when I give a 4.5 star. I also sometimes give 2.5 stars if there's a book that I disliked, but like I kind of feel bad rating it 2 stars. You know, like if there's a book that I disliked, but I don't feel like it's objectively bad, or not objectively bad, because I don't necessarily think a 2-star book is objectively bad. Let's say I think I give 2.5 stars if there's a book that like I think was genuinely well done and it just didn't work for me for whatever reason, so I just feel bad giving it a full 2. And that's why I go 2.5 to kind of signal like, this book was not it for me, but I'm sorry, author, I'm not knocking you, it just wasn't, it wasn't something I liked. So I do give a lot of half stars, and really, I just give half stars when that's what my heart is telling me to do at the end of the day. And now we're on to the question about 5-star books. Question 7 is, do you rate books 5 stars often? What do these books have to do to make you rate them that high? In my mind, I've always rated books 5 stars when I felt like this is a favorite book. And I feel like I don't give 5 stars that often. And I kind of want to. I want to give more 5 stars. And to a certain extent, I feel like I'm too picky. And sometimes I wonder if my 5-star rating system is flawed. Because there do come those books every once in a while where the moment you finish it, you know this is an all-time favorite book. This is a book I'm never going to forget. I'm going to love this book forever. But not necessarily always. I also quite often find myself, I read a book and it was really good, but like objectively speaking, I know there was something it could have done better. There was that one little thing I would have changed about it had I wrote it. And so then I tell myself, okay, I'm going to give this a 4.5 star instead of a 5. And I'm kind of at this point where I'm like, Jackie, why can't you just give it a 5? Like, does the book have to change your life to be a 5? Like, if it gave you what you wanted from it, why not just give it a 5? And so I think I might be a little bit too stingy with the 5 stars, you know? There have been books that, in hindsight, I wish I rated 5 stars. Because like I said, if I'm giving a book 5 stars, I feel like it's going to be a favorite. Or it's a book where I approve of the author's choices, I loved the characters in the ending, and there's nothing major I would change about it. But sometimes you don't know how a book is going to stick with you right away. And there will be books that, you know, 2 years later, I still remember how much I enjoyed the book. And I'm like, wait, why didn't I give that book 5 star? I'm here 2 years later thinking about it. Why did I give it a 4.5? So that's really my 5-star process, and I think I need to reevaluate a little bit. I think I need to give more 5 stars and not necessarily expect the book to totally change my life and make me an entirely different person after I read it. I feel like my 5 stars should be less about this is an all-time favorite and more about this book was what I wanted. Question 8 is, has your rating of books changed over the years? Like I was just saying, I feel like I need to change my 5-star process a little bit. I think I need to be less tough. I need to give 5 stars more often and stop thinking of 5-star books as all-time favorites and thinking about them more so as books that delivered what I wanted when I picked them up. Books that I thoroughly enjoyed for the time that I was reading them. And even if they had minor flaws, like I still really loved this book while I was reading it. I think I need to be less perfectionistic, is that even a word, when I'm rating books I really enjoy. The other thing that I think has changed a little bit is like, listen, I'm never gonna lie to you guys and say that I liked a book if I didn't. But I don't necessarily want to film rants as much anymore, unless it's a book that I think is like actually offensive. And the reason I want to do that, I said this in another video recently, is because I am trying to become a published author. And so I don't, now that I'm looking to that next chapter in my life, ever want to use my channel to potentially put someone down. And yeah, I understand that authors may never see my reviews of their books. And it's not personal when you rate a book 1 star or anything. But I also feel like if I am coming at this from the perspective of a potential author, I recognize that people put their heart and soul into their books, and they put a lot of hard work into their books. And so I just don't think it would be professional or kind for me to necessarily film rant reviews at this point in time. I think, you know, if I don't like a book, I'm just going to say I didn't like it. I'm going to tell you why, but I'm not going to like go on a tirade about the book, because I just think that's not something that's appropriate for an author to do. So as I'm looking towards getting published myself, that's something that's going to change. Like I said, I'm never going to lie to you and tell you I liked a book if I didn't like it. I'm only going to recommend to you books that I genuinely liked. But I also don't have to film rants either. And so that's something I'm going to do less of now on. I know so many of you say that you love my rants. And I hope you understand why I'm making this decision. And from now on, when I'm giving a book a 1 or a 2 star rating, I am going to not necessarily talk about how awful the book was, but talk about specific reasons and techniques, talk about personally like what I think would have made the book better in my personal opinion, so that the criticism comes across as more constructive and hopefully educational for the viewers, you know, and just more so explain my personal thoughts, feelings, and what I would do differently, instead of just saying like, oh my god, I hated this book, you know? So I hope you understand. And the last question, question 9, is where do you record ratings of your books? Pretty easy here on my YouTube channel and my monthly wrap-ups, and also on my Goodreads. Now, unfortunately, Goodreads does not allow you to give half-star ratings, so whenever I rate something 4.5 stars or 3.5 stars, whatever, on my channel, I do have to pick 3 or 4 on Goodreads, but I do always write in the review section, you know, 4.5 stars rounded up or 3.5 stars rounded down, etc. So I wish that I could give half-star ratings on Goodreads. Alas, I cannot, so I record my rounded up or down ratings on Goodreads for every book that I read, and I will tell you my ratings in my wrap-up videos here. Now, before we go, I'm going to do something I never ever do. I'm actually going to tag some people. This is a fairly new tag. It only came out, I think, 3 months ago. So I believe the people that I'm tagging have not done this video yet. If somehow I missed it after looking at your channel, I'm sorry. And also, if you just don't want to do this, you don't have to. I'm tagging you just for fun, and you don't have to do it if you don't want to. But I'm going to tag Rose from Rose at Home channel. I have recently discovered her channel, and I really like her videos, so I would love to see her do this tag. I am going to tag Reading with Manny. I would love to see you try this tag too, if you're interested. And I'm going to tag Tori from Good Strong Words. I was looking at Tori's channel before I sat down to film this, and seems like she hasn't done this tag yet, but it seems like the exact sort of tag that I could imagine you filming, Tori. So I hope you will give this a shot. Again, if none of you want to film this, no hard feelings. Also, if anybody out there watching this wants to film this and you haven't been tagged by me, consider yourself tagged. Go make your own video and let me know in the comment section so I can go check it out. Feel free to say that I tagged you. That is going to be it for me today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. I post new videos every Wednesday and Sunday. My social media links are in the description if you want to follow me on Tumblr, Instagram, or be my friend on Goodreads. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a terrific rest of your day. Bye, and I'll see you next time.